What is music? The definition of music is very loose, and the definitions you may find in a dictionary or Google, they don't quite narrow down music enough. In fact, professional musicians and people who know music theory very well can't seem to define music either. Truth is, we don't have an exact answer to what music is, and it may be that music is a subjective experience. What you perceive as music is music. And at least for me, I've never been able to feel rap as music. I personally don't like rap, but I like to keep an open mind. And for the most part, I like most genres of music. So when I listen to other genres of music, I feel the music, and I was trying to figure out why I don't feel rap as music, why it just doesn't sound like music to me. And it occurred to me what it is missing. Um, Now, from at least what I've seen, rap is very rhythmically and percussion oriented. Less so percussion, more so rhythmically, especially since most of the percussion used isn't actually real percussion. But above all that, really just the lyrics and how you utilize them themselves. So the lyrics and percussion, you the lyrics and rhythm, you use the lyrics in a rhythmic way. And while it's true that rhythm does give a certain flow that makes you feel like you want to move your body, it it doesn't. You can't get emotion simply from rhythm. I mean, you can a little bit, but it's very limited. Rhythm can only convey so much. There's not much pattern in your brain to associate rhythm with emotion. Um, Rhythm can be um it can give emotion. For example, hold on, let me find a pic. Okay. In Metallica's one, at the end, it is just one note, E. But the way it's used is very fast, and fast things have. It feels like it has more energy, so therefore, it it feels higher in energy, and the way it uses it is very fast and choppy, so it feels aggressive. This gives off an aggressive. This gives off an aggressive feel. It gives off the feeling of anger, which it's supposed to. That is what it's supposed to do. So rhythm can give off a bit of emotion, but not a lot of it. But for the most part, you're not gonna get a lot of emotion from rhythm. Just a bit of a feeling to move your body. Let's bring the guitar again, but not actually play anything. Just yeah. Let's okay. I'm trying to think of a beat to do. Your brain likes to categorize that and like move yourself to it, but where's the emotion? Yes, you feel like you want to move, but where's the emotion? And in terms of rap, there isn't much there. There's not much harmonic value. There's a little bit of it, but not much of it. It does seem to be prioritized and the rhythmic feel, and even more so than that, from what I've seen, the lyrics themselves. Now, I don't like approaching music this way. I think music should be music and a story should be a story. And if the music sounds good, then it can be enhanced with a story. However, I don't think the music should be focused on the story because the music matters as well. And I do believe music can be objectively good and objectively bad. And you can still enjoy something that is objectively bad, but I think music can still be objectively bad based on things like timing and complexity. You know, if you're playing super offbeat and it's very very simple, that like you're basically not even writing it because it's been played a million times, because basically you're just using the same chords that everyone's used. It's complicated. Like, what point is it your music? But even then, what I do think, if it's that simple and if it's being played bad with bad rhythm, it's subjectively bad. But that doesn't mean you can't enjoy it. Some people enjoy something about it. I've heard that some people do anyway. But nonetheless, rap doesn't have that certain element harmonically. I'm trying to think and get my point across here. I apologize. So it does seem to me that it prioritizes the lyrics and less so the music. But speaking strictly from a music perspective, because that's what I like to do, rap doesn't seem to be all that complicated. It doesn't seem to have that much harmonic value at all, which means there's not much like actual music there besides the rhythmic part of it. The thing is, what I realized is, every single genre of music that I feel the music and consider music, I can feel the emotion through the music without the use of lyrics. Yes, you can feel a story and stuff, but what I like to feel is the emotion of a harmony, the emotion of a chord progression. Even just using a third, a root and a third, gives off an emotion, a rather sad one. Why is that? It's just the way the relationship of the notes work. But you can get an emotion simply just off of that, and it's a rather sad one. That's a root and a third. It's E and G, E and G. If you give it that B, then it's an E minor chord. But even I'm sorry, the rap doesn't seem to have a whole lot of harmony in it that gives off the emotion in the music itself. The emotion seems to be dependent on the lyrics and how emotive the rhythmic part of it can be, which is very limited. I think emotion in music consists of two things. If you're going strictly by the music, which is how I like to approach music, the harmonic value of it, and the not inharmonic, because that's more of like noise. The harmonic value of it and the dissonance of it, the lack of harmony. Dissonance, I feel more so, is even more emotionful than harmony itself, but you gotta use it in the right way. Dissonance is tension, and the more tension there is, the more emotion there is. Dissonance can really make something feel like it has a lot of emotion, whether this be dissonance within a key because it went out of the key, or dissonance between notes. If there's dissonance there, it's going to have more emotion than if there isn't any dissonance there. For an example, dissonance within a key, I think Creep is a good example. It uses several times when it goes out of the key. Let me show you how it would sound if it stayed in the key the entire time, the key of G major. That works lyrics, it definitely has emotion because chords themselves have emotion because of the relationship in between notes. But watch what happens if we have dissonance in the key of G major, so we go outside the key in those certain chords. This one note is outside the key, yet it holds so much emotion going in between it, and it's also half step motion. Half step motion is very powerful. Anyways, the point is, hold on, wait, I forgot the other example. Dissonance between notes. You could have, let's see. Alright, so, very basic chord progression. But, you know what sounds even better and creates tension? If we add that seventh to this B chord here, it wants to resolve to this E even more. And that's dissonance in between notes. But rap doesn't have a lot of value in harmony or dissonance, therefore I can't feel the music itself. There's a lot of rhythmic value and a lot of value in the lyrics, but I look at music based on what the music is doing itself. I prioritize the music first, and then if I like the music, I'll listen to whatever the person is saying. But in order to feel whatever the person is saying, I need to enjoy the music itself. And if there's not much happening within the music, then I won't feel it because there's nothing to feel. You feel the music because of the relationship that the notes have with each other. And if there's basically no notes, then you're not going to be feeling anything. And, you know, a lot of it doesn't have notes. There's not a lot of chords. They don't utilize chords in a really great way. And there's hardly melodies from what I've seen. And melodies are also very important. But yeah, I like it when a chord progression makes me feel, when a melody makes me feel. I'll give you some examples. Like, I like to write stuff that just has a lot of emotion because it utilizes all those factors. Like, here's a chord progression I wrote. That's just for context. That's the intro. A lot of emotion there, and then we move on. No. Oh wait, no, those are the wrong chords. I'm sorry. Now, I'm sure some people that did make them feel anything, and I'm sure some people just can't really feel music that much, and that's why they rely on lyrics. But I'm willing to bet that for most people, they felt something listening to that chord progression because it does its job well. And, you know, I like the music itself to make me feel. That's what makes me feel like I'm listening to music. If there's no harmonic value, then I don't feel like I'm listening to music. If there's rhythm, I feel like I'm getting part of the music, but I don't really feel the music. I don't really get all of it. I'm just getting an element of music. And frankly, an element of music is not enough for me to consider it music. And that is why all of this is to say, at least to me, rap is not music. Well, it depends, because I know there's a lot of different types of rap, and some of rap utilizes the elements I've said more than other ones. And sometimes I guess I confuse it a little bit. But for the most part, I don't consider rap music. That's just my own take on it. Anyways, I had this planned out earlier today, actually. I just want to say this. And I when I had it in my head, I was explaining it better. But, I took too long to record. And then I kind of lost my train of thought. So that's why this video's kind of been a bit messy. Hopefully I can explain it better in the future, but this is what we're getting now. Anyways, see you guys.